Yesterday I published a video on the shooting of Feroz Khan. Since then, details from the crime scene investigation have emerged, and they changed things. The laptop was not stolen. It was found hidden in the spare wheel compartment of his car. No bullet holes were found on the vehicle. And a handwritten note was recovered at the scene, naming 2 serving police officers and calling for a criminal case to be opened against them. If your theory about this story was settled after watching my first video, I need you to hold that a little more loosely now, because the picture has changed. Let me know in the comments if you have changed your mind or if you have another theory altogether. Thank you to every subscriber who supports this channel. It is always appreciated. And if you are new here, I'm Riaan Roux, and this is the Riaan Roux Show. Yesterday, on Monday, I reported that Khan's laptop and phone were taken at the scene. That was accurate based on what was reported at the time, including from sources at the hospital. Details from the crime scene investigation emerged on Monday. The report states, and I quote, "The vehicle was thoroughly searched and the HP laptop was recovered from the spare wheel compartment." That is a significant development. The phone is still unaccounted for, but the laptop was not taken by the gunman. It was hidden inside the car. This detail matters more than it might appear at first. In my first video, the central argument was that the attack was about the data, that someone took the devices because of what was on them. The laptop changes that argument. If the gunman took the laptop, you have a targeted intelligence operation. If the laptop was hidden in the spare wheel before or during the attack, you have something completely different. You have a man who may have anticipated what was coming and concealed the device himself. Either reading is possible at this point, but they lead to very different conclusions about what happened on Sunday night, and I want to be honest with you about that. The same report also states that no bullet holes were found on Khan's grey Suzuki Baleno. 2 spent 9mm cartridges were recovered at the scene, and a projectile impact was identified on the road surface. Khan was shot in the abdomen and is in critical condition. The medical evidence of a genuine wound is not in question, but the absence of bullet holes on the vehicle is one of the key pieces of physical evidence the PKTT will be examining. If 2 shots were fired at a stationary or slow-moving car at close range, and neither round struck the vehicle, investigators will want to understand the exact sequence of events that explains that. I'm really starting to wonder if Khan at some stage exited the vehicle. Khan's attorney, Kylan Giro, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, pushed back on the staged shooting theory on Monday, saying no sane person would take a bullet in the abdomen with vital organs in that space. That is a fair point. The wound is real. The question investigators are working through is the circumstances that produced it. A handwritten yellow note was also found at the scene. The note called for a criminal case to be opened against Colonel Khorombi and General Khumalo to be investigated by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, IDAC. Now, General Khumalo is Dumisani Khumalo. He and Khan have a documented history of conflict. According to previous reporting, Khan alleged that Khumalo used the 2021 Eriton drug bust to try to remove him. IDAC is already probing both Khorombi and Khumalo. 2 questions about this note are now the subject of the high-level police investigation. Was it planted at the scene, or did it belong to Khan? Both are plausible. A man who feared for his life and was preparing explosive testimony might carry written notes about who he believed was behind the threats against them. Equally, a note conveniently naming the people Khan has publicly accused makes for a useful diversion if the staging theory is correct. I'm not going to tell you which it is. That is what the PKTT is for. Here is the question that sits underneath all of this, regardless of which theory you hold. Khan's own advocate, Zubair Khan, confirmed on Monday that Khan had been deliberately rotating vehicles in the days before the shooting, travelling in unmarked cars specifically to avoid being tracked. Despite those precautions, two men in a white Mercedes-Benz found him on Sunday night at around 11 p.m. on a specific street in the correct vehicle. Either someone who knew his movements that night told the gunman where he would be, or Khan himself was at a location he had communicated to someone he trusted. There is no version of the real hit theory that does not require a leak of some kind. Advocate Zubair Khan raised something on Monday that I want to handle carefully, because he himself was careful about how he said it. The advocate said, and I quote the substance of what was reported, "There is grave concern that there might be a compromise in the Commission, but at this stage it is speculative." I'm flagging that as a speculation because that is exactly what his own legal representative called it. But it is on the record, and it is worth understanding what it means.
Well, at this point in time, it's speculative, but we do have concerns. One person who appeared before the Commission has already been murdered, as we know. There's been an attempt on General Khan's life as he was to appear before the Commission, and there is grave concern that there might be a compromise within the Commission.
Khan's testimony was going to implicate members of the police service. The Commission knew the content of what he was going to say. His lawyers knew. The people named in his testimony knew, because they had access to the Commission's disclosure documents. The concern being raised is that somewhere in that chain of knowledge, information about what Khan was going to say, and possibly about where he would be that night before he testified, found its way to the wrong people. Whether that is true is for investigators to determine. What I will say is this: the advocate's concern is not irrational given what we know about how information moves inside the current state of SAPS. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi said before this commission that almost everything that appears in the media comes from Khan's component of crime intelligence. The irony of that is not lost. Khan remains in critical condition at Netcare Millpark Hospital. He is expected to require further surgery. His legal team has filed an application for him to testify in camera before the Madlanga Commission. Advocate Zubair Khan said Khan is willing to testify once suitable protection is in place, and framed the request in broader terms than personal safety alone. He said, not only for his safety, but for the safety of the intelligence industry as a whole, and also for the identity of informants. It is important that those identities are maintained as confidential and not disclosed for public consumption. The Madlanga Commission has described Khan as a key witness and is engaging with his legal representatives about the way forward. The Commission's final report is due on the 31st of August 2026. At Monday's briefing, a journalist put a direct question to Commission spokesperson Jeremy Michaels. Did Khan submit his affidavit by the Commission's 22 June deadline? Michaels would not answer. He said only that he did not want to get into that detail at this point. That non-answer matters. If an affidavit was submitted by 22 June, people named in it received copies through the Commission's disclosure process.
We are told that General Khan, the deadline for him to submit an affidavit was the 22nd. Did he submit an affidavit, and do you have something on record?
I don't at this point want to get into that detail, Yusuf.
The shooting happened 6 days after that deadline. The Commission is also under immediate scheduling pressure independent of Khan's situation. On Monday morning, forensic investigator Paula Sullivan was in the building and ready to testify, and the commission was told he could not be moved to another date. At the same time, the evidence of witness Tumelo Nku still needed to be concluded. The commission is already racing against its 31 August deadline, and it is now doing so with a key witness hospitalized and a schedule that has no room to absorb further disruption. The PKTT, the Hawks, Gauteng Crime Intelligence and the SAPS Detective Service are all working this investigation. The white Mercedes-Benz used by the gunman has not yet been found. The official evidence from Sunday night raises more questions than it answers. A hidden laptop, no bullet holes in the car, a handwritten note naming 2 police officers already under investigation, and a man who was rotating vehicles for safety found anyway. An institution that cannot account for how a key witness was located despite active security precautions the week before he was due to testify has a problem that goes beyond this shooting. Do share this video with someone that you think needs to hear this story. If you have subscribed, thank you. It really does help the channel. And drop your thoughts in the comments. And I will catch you in the next one.